Hello, dandelions out there, and hello, Caroline.
Good morning, Christopher. Hi, Dandelions.
Here's another episode of our podcast, Dandelion Reflections, and today we will reflect over a wonderful. Well, I'm ex assuming it was wonderful travel that you have just came back from, Caroline.
Yes, correct. And that explains a little bit the hiatus in recording. And by the way, Christopher, happy anniversary to our podcast. It's been a year of
Yeah.
yay!
Wow, a year goes so fast.
A year goes so fast. Yes. Yeah, a few weeks ago, I had the wonderful experience of being among other women who like to run in the Pyrenees. So this was an organized trip by a kinesiologist from Quebec, Catherine Moras, and it's called Une fille qui court, or a girl running.
Hmm.
And it was an 8-day adventure in the Pyrenees where we would run every day, an average of 8 kilometers. There was elevation, so of course part of the run was hiking, but going down meant running, and it sounds easy to run when you go downhill, but it's not that easy, right?
Hmm.
It's tricky and dangerous, and we had to basically navigate nature's elements, right? Like whether the terrain was irregular with obstacles, rocks, leaves. There was some rain at some point, even hail.
Ooh,
So it was really a nice challenge. Yeah.
yeah. And let me just get those of us up to speed that aren't so familiar with geographics. The Pyrenees is a mountain range between France and Spain,
Correct.
just in case
Yes, and we were on the French side. Yes, and
you
we
were
were
on
in
the
a
French
place
side,
called,
right?
yeah, we were actually staying in a villa at Bagnères de Bigorre. That's a
Hmm.
beautiful, lovely little rural area, and that was the kind of where we landed ourselves every day. But we would take day trips to different places and would see different landscapes. So, yeah,
So,
it was in France.
yeah. So what was the goal of your trip
Yeah.
for you personally, and then maybe for the group, for the one who
Yes.
organized it?
That's a beautiful question, actually, because that was one of the screening questions when we applied to this. And I really had to reflect why I wanted to do that, because initially it was my friend from Quebec who pulled me into this, right? She
Hmm.
said, "Oh, you just ran a 10K. You should sign up for this trip with me. We'll have a great time together." And, this friend is like a sister, and we've been knowing each other since high school. So I said, sure, why not? And I was a little bit intimidated at first because I know she's been doing a lot of physical activities like biking. And she's actually part of another group called Les Roses, or the Roses, which kind of overlaps with this group, a girl running. And I thought, well, I don't know if I can. And that was the question that I realized a lot of us had, like, will I be able to? Will I be able to? When we got there, we all had that silent question that it was haunting us. But anyway,
Hmm.
so when I paused and looked at this opportunity when she mentioned that, I thought, that could be a good challenge for me, because I realized that I've been running over the years a little bit more, and I've been hiking quite a bit in my adult life, and I like to be outdoors. So I thought, well, that sounds like a great opportunity to reconnect with nature and also reboot. And it was a gift to myself, because I've been through a lot of stuff over the past few years that have very much depleted me and eroded my, self-confidence or ability to reconnect with my place of calm and joy inside of me. So I felt like this was maybe a sign, and I decided to apply. And I thought this would be also a multidimensional experience, not just the physical part of it, but also the camaraderie or sisterhood that I was hoping to develop, and the meditation and spiritual experience of being in
Nice.
nature and with the mountains and developing a sense of awe. So it was all in that kind of state of mind that I've applied, and that's what I was looking for. And in fact, I got my money's worth
Huh.
because I really, I mean, it was beyond what I could expect and imagine and dream of. And at the same time, yes, it fulfilled everything I was hoping for. So,
That's wonderful. And you you mentioned the self-doubt in the
mhm,
beginning, and this is something that you and
yes,
I know is very common with us humans. And
right,
our brain always talks in there, nah, you're not good enough. You won't be able to make it, and all
right,
that stuff. So, how long did it take for you to see that, well,
yes,
you're going to make it?
right. I guess the first run, once you do the first run that first day, it's kind of an icebreaker and you realize a little bit your caliber, and not that you want to compare yourself to others, but just you realize that you fit, that you can do it, that you actually complete the run. And it doesn't matter how long it takes or if you fall, and which I did the first time. I guess I had to do that just to reassure myself that I could fall well. And actually, I got feedback from others. Oh, actually, I saw you, and you did fine, because I went back up. I was
Right.
immediately like up. I was not tense when I fell,
Hmm.
unlike when I fell while training here. So that wasn't a different story. But so I realized, okay, I felt good after that, and I felt, yeah, I can do this. And the next day was a little bit more challenging, and we knew that, but it was okay because um, we had been able to run that first run, and everyone also was so positive. So that's the other thing. You feel immediately supported and encouraged, and everybody was cheering. And so that really helped. And that when your mental says you can do something, you can, right? Actually, physically do it. So the power of the mind, yeah, we should
Hmm.
not underestimate it. So, yeah, at that point, I felt really reassured and confident that I would be able to do it. And yes, if I had pain at some point, I would just take it easier, but it was fine. It was really smooth, and I'm grateful for that.
And you mentioned the camaraderie. Excuse
Yes.
my bad French.
No, no, that,
That's how did that come
yeah.
into your personal motivation?
Yes. So interestingly, my friend who dragged me into this and who I was so looking forward to spend time with injured herself the week
Oh,
before, couldn't make the trip. It
no,
was,
no.
yes. So it was a big emotional moment for both of us. Um, but we did spend time together right before that trip. It was like I had two bookends for this trip in Canada. So at the beginning, I spent time with my sister, my nieces, my sister's wife, and then my friend who dragged me into this. Her name is also Caroline. And so we ended up doing a mini hike because she wanted to keep moving and recover from her injury. And we had a nice picnic on the top of a little mountain where she lives. And then we had dinner, and then she brought me to the airport. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so emotional. And it's kind of ironic, right? We were supposed to go there together, right? To
Right.
get a taxi and go and be in the plane and share the room together, and didn't happen this way. So we realized that there was something there that was meant to be. And
Mhm.
I knew that she would be with us all along, and that we would eventually do something like that. But so I had started to kind of get to know a little bit the other women in the group, because there was this Facebook group and we were asking questions, etc. So, but immediately in the airport, I bonded with other women and we started having fun, laughing, sharing, and that just continued. I'm sorry. And it really reminded me of my experience in high school where we had those camps at the end of the year. It was like a 5 day experience in nature, and being, singing while doing dishes and spending time outdoors. And I just love these experiences so much. For me, it was so wholesome. And that's kind of what I recreated there, with these women. And there was a lot of laughter, and it was incredible. And we were at different stages of life, but we were also having so many things in common, and we bonded really well. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, it went as smoothly as it could, I think,
Right.
overall.
Wonderful. So
Yes.
describe the yeah, describe nature on the French
Yeah.
side of the Pyrenees. How does it look like? What does it
Yes.
look like?
Yes. It's very pure. It's when you get there, and you know Europe, you're there, right? And there's such a striking difference between Europe and America, where here we have a lot of billboards and we're constantly bombarded by advertisement and then the news and whatnot and propaganda. And it's like, it's just, it seems like in nature is always kind of very tenuous or threatened, right? We have it here. We have beautiful national parks, but it seems um, like it's not as honored or as sacred as in those areas or villages where people really live that life
Yeah.
every day, having their sheep with little bells at their neck and hearing the bells from the churches. Just the sounds, it carried differently. The silence felt so sacred and wonderful, and nature, the air, everything, it was pure. It was simple, pure, welcoming, safe,
Hmm.
um, and very well preserved, you know. So it was really like, yeah, wild. There was also actually a rainforest in one of our runs, and that was one of our destinations. So it felt like in the rainforest in the Amazon or
Cool.
something. So the nature was beautiful. There was altitude, but I didn't really feel any discomfort from it. So yeah, and just when you get on the top of a mountain, I mean, you just have a different perspective on life, right? Because it's just transcending, and you elevate yourself not just physically but spiritually above all kinds of stuff that really don't matter, the realm of the ego and the drama, and it felt so good to be disconnected from it all for a while. You know, I was not really reading the news or checking the headlines. I was really detoxing from all of that, from all of this nonsense that our world is seeing right now.
Interesting. So I really love that because it's I hear that from a lot of people that that they're actually finding their refuge,
Mhm.
finding back to their own nature in nature.
Mm,
And because it's as you describe it, it's so pure, so
yeah.
n not this constant bombardment of advertisement and opinion building and whatever there is out there that distracts us from who we really are.
Yes, exactly. And it was again a very striking contrast, but it I feel like this had a magical effect on people there too, because I felt like, there's no toxic masculinity here. I don't see it, because there
Yes.
were a few men in the group actually were like guiding us, right? There was one who
Right.
was actually a local from there. His name is Frédéric, and he was awesome. And he was just very comfortable being surrounded by women and guiding them
Hmm.
and encouraging them and allez les filles. And it's like super like positive and telling us about the place and being so positive and enthusiastic. So it felt so refreshing. So I feel like when people are connected with nature like that and nature's elements, it can only do wonders to the soul. And there's no place for all these like egotistical things and competition and power dynamics, and it was just not there. It was not relevant. It was the essence of life. Time also flowed differently. It's just there
Hmm.
was not pressure, go go go. It's like, yeah, we had a schedule, but it's like it was also flexible, and there was time for relaxation, for just being grounded and in the moment. And I mean, you do have, yeah, go ahead.
I something just popped up in my mind, like you know how that is a vacation. There's something like
Uh-huh.
vacancy, isn't that freedom?
Oh,
Is
wow. Yes. Yes.
and
Living
so
space.
you
Hmm.
really enjoyed your vacation, right? Because
Yes.
you
Yeah.
made yourself, you
Yeah.
got yourself your own freedom from all this
Yeah.
other stuff that haunts
Correct.
us.
Yes. Vacation, vacancy. I love that because it means space. I felt there was an incredible space around us and in us. And yes, there were things that are like affecting me that were still affecting me there, and I was sad about certain things, but it was not um there was it, I don't know how to say that, but it was not taking up the full space of my
Hmm.
soul at that moment so that I could really continue to thrive and evolve and heal. And there was a healthy distance between my worries in life and where I was, and it brought a different meaning to the experience, really. Yeah, it was very eye-opening, very, very illuminating and recharging. I came back here, and yes, the same reality, and I was dreading it a
Hmm.
little bit, but I felt inhabited by that same energy for a while. And yeah, so I realized that this is something I need to do for myself. It's not a luxury. And you know that, right, Christopher? You live in such a beautiful area, and I can see the nature around you like really being similar to where I was and providing similar experiences. I feel like it's not a luxury. I think we are not meant to be living in boxes and just working with big fluorescent bulbs above our heads
Hmm. Yes.
and and just completing tasks and repetitive tasks and mindless tasks. And we're not made for this.
Correct. And this is well, we I have this feeling that we could go on about this for years,
Right.
talking about it. Um, and but yeah, we're totally uh, we have gone from our real nature because someone someday decided, okay, it's important to earn money and to pay our bills, to pay insurance, to pay rent, to pay. Uh, so
Mm-hmm.
all this that is that's putting a lot of pressure on us as humans and on our souls to compete and to there goes that word to to live up to certain expectations by others of others, and we ourselves put fuel onto that fire even also
Mm-hmm.
because we also have our expectations on ourselves that we have maybe collected while we were
Mm-hmm.
uh, children from our the adults around us at that time. So we've come, we are trained to not be who we are
Yes.
somehow. Oh, suddenly this became very philosophical. Um, well, that's the meaning of
True.
our talks, isn't it? To
Yes.
just let come in whatever wants to come in. So yeah, and we try to all the time to to make other people happy
Yes.
and forget ourselves. And this turn back to nature, being in nature, whether it's on a vacation or just a short walk outside of your around your neighborhood, if you have the possibility to have
Mm-hmm.
to do that, and just go outside and hug a tree or hug
Yes.
one of
Yeah.
these big rocks that are lying around here everywhere that what they say the trolls have thrown at each other uh, way back in time because they were
Mm-hmm.
angry at each other. So you have these boulders, and they're millions of years old, and
Yes.
uh, only 12,000, 15,000 years ago, they were
Mm-hmm.
under about, I don't know, several hundred meters of ice.
Mm-hmm.
and now they're lying there. Just think of what they have experienced. What if they could talk? How much
Yeah.
how much wisdom could they give us? And so if you actually go there and hug them and
Yeah.
feel the connection, and we all are parts of this
Hmm.
nature, and we all have a part of that rock in ourselves, right? We
Hmm.
that's such a wonderful feeling that we are so close to nature, and we have
Yes.
been, I don't want to say we have become a victim, but we have let it happen that we
Hmm.
have been disconnected. We have
Right.
become disconnected.
Yeah, what you're saying, Christopher, really moves me because it really echoes what I've been noticing as well while I was there in me. And again, noticing how the trees, for instance, exactly carry that wisdom and knowledge
Right.
like the rocks. All of this has been there before us, and we should be so respectful and appreciative of that. And I had a similar conversation with a patient yesterday about the trees. We talked about how we actually hug trees. She said, people
Yeah.
think it's weird. I said, no, trees probably have a consciousness too because of all of this energy and ancestral wisdom they carry, and they're a symbol of resilience, and they have a way to communicate apparently between themselves, right? The trees in the forest. So there is actual network. There's so little we know.
Right.
And this is not all there is, right? The tangible, there's also the untangible or invisible realm. I mean, gravity is there. We don't see it, but we see its effects. So we don't question gravity. Why would we question other things like, yeah, the wisdom that a rock or a boulder carries, right? And I think they're there to remind us of what matters, right? The elements of nature are a mirror, and they ground us, and they provide comfort and stability. And at the same time, they show that everything is impermanent. So I think we
Hmm.
have a lot to learn from nature. For me, that was a great opportunity again to pause and be reminded of all of that. Yes.
Nothing is impermanent. That's something that we should
Nothing
absolutely.
is permanent.
Uh, no,
Permanent. Yeah.
nothing is
Nothing's
permanent.
permanent.
Everything is impermanent. Yeah,
Right.
right. Thank you. Uh,
Right.
exactly. And this is something that we also uh, too easily forget. We think everything is so important, and we try to control everything and amass wealth and
Yeah.
whatever, and then
Oh. Yeah.
uh, and then
Yes.
when we're on our deathbeds, and
Mhm.
I'm sure there are many uh, deathbed surveys where they ask people, what is it that you regret most? And well, I
Yeah.
can't remember reading about anyone saying I didn't collect enough money.
Hmm. Right. Good point. And thank you for that reminder, Christopher, because I think this need, the greed, right, to amass money comes from a fear of death. It's really
Oh,
about,
great. Wonderful. Thanks.
I mean, it creates an illusion that replaces the illusion of immortality, right?
Hmm.
Because deep down we all know we're mortals, and that's probably the only fair thing in life, or that makes us all equal, I should say, because we are all gonna die one day. But for many of us, it's really hard to accept, and then we want to create that illusion that no, it's not going to happen to us. But then we know deep down it's not true. So I think we replace that with another illusion that, yeah, having a lot of money will ensure our immortality somehow. And we see that in people who are just so greedy, and they're not aligned, they're not at peace, right? People who are at peace do not have that need. People at peace will just take enough so that they have enough to live and have a quality of life. There's nothing wrong with money, with possessions, but it's just when things possess us, that's a problem. We become enslaved
Right.
to that wealth we're trying to create. This is not freedom. this is not immortality, it's death, it's spiritual death.
Hmm. Is there such a concept as greed anywhere in nature?
Oh, in nature. Well, I'm wondering the squirrels, when they amass all these acorns, if they're a little bit on the greedy side, but that's kind of all I can think
But why
of.
do they do it? What's their why?
Right. Why do they do that? And maybe they are actually doing that because there's something about rebalancing nature and how, the trees are going to be, I don't know, grown, or I don't
Here's
know, maybe just a
here
tribute. Yeah.
here's my guess. I think they're just trying to get over the winter.
Yeah. Yeah. True.
You know what? This reminds me of a story that I saw some years ago. I looked through the window of a place where I was working at that time, and I watched a squirrel collecting
Mhm.
stuff,
Okay.
and then there was a which was there was it a raven? One of these
Oh,
blackbirds, I
yeah.
think,
Could be.
and it watched the squirrel and looked exactly where it went. And then when the squirrel was away, the raven
Oh.
went there and took all the the acorns or nuts or whatever it was collecting there. So the poor acorn. Well, that reminds me of some workplaces,
Right. Some
and
workplaces. Oh my God.
right,
Some
you're
of
doing
us, yeah,
you
are
you're doing
squirrels.
all the work, right? And
Oh yeah.
your boss or the CEO is running off
Mm.
with all the money. Well, however, that's just so the greed in nature.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let's say the squirrel does that to actually get over the winter and to have enough
Mhm.
food, and many
Yeah.
animals have this. How do you call that in English when they're hoarding?
Hy hy
Hibernation?
yeah.
That was not the word. You know, they collect food for the
Okay.
winter.
Yeah, like not nesting or
Hmm.
um
Sounds
yeah,
good.
making reserves or yeah,
Like we did
stacking
that,
food like the
back in,
canning goods.
yeah, we did way before there were shops 24/7 where you
Right.
could
Hmm.
get just about anything from everywhere from the world at any
Hmm.
place, and so there's
Hmm.
no no fear any longer that you could get that you could be out of food at any time. Actually,
Hmm.
nowadays, as long as you're like in reasonable distance to a store, but like just I don't know, 100 years ago,
Hmm.
um, or yeah, when refrigerators were not so common and it was not as so easy to get your package from Amazon or whatever, uh,
Hmm.
then people were really
Hmm.
forced to, you know, keep some of their fruits and vegetables and find ways to store them or
Hmm.
salt your your meat and make it preserve it for the winter, right? So you had something to eat. But there's no need anymore. There's
Right.
no fear of death any longer, actually, because you always have enough food.
Yes, it's readily accessible in general, and especially here in America, I would say. In France, though, the grocery store was closed at noon on Sunday. So when we landed, we were told like, okay, you'll get your groceries in the morning. And I thought that was interesting because yeah, it necessitated an adjustment, but it forced us to really do what we could with what we had, and it's a good thing
Mm.
too, right? So, but yeah, in general, like we have created that illusion that we press on the button and everything will appear to us, right?
Yes, exactly.
So, but yeah, I think it's important. So it's really basically just finding balance. I mean, accumulating too much because one is too insecure, that's not good, but just being mindful enough of the cycles of nature and the circumstances in order to prevent certain gaps in food or whatever, then that's
Hmm.
helpful. So, but yeah, then just relying too much on, yeah, everything is going to be delivered whenever I need it. Yeah, something might happen like a pandemic or suddenly things shut down. And so we need to be adaptable basically. And that's what also this trip reminded me of. Yeah, the adaptability, flexibility. Yeah, just not being attached to a specific form
Hmm.
or income. Yeah.
And how
And
did that help in with your group to grow
yeah.
together as a group? While you're referring about that, let me just let the
Yeah.
cat in.
Yeah. I will be, if you want, I can say that. So we were speaking my native language there, Quebecois or French,
Right.
and from Quebec, right? And so I've heard an expression there that I didn't really know, but my mom apparently knew it, and I'd never really heard her say that. But later on, she said it. But it's like, oh, tonight we're gonna have tuski for dinner. Tuski. I'm like, what is tuski? So
Tuski.
over there we were there, but tuski means it's just tuski res, everything that remains. So you look at what's left over,
Oh.
you make up something with it. So I thought that was really cute because I do that here too in California, tuski, and I love that. It's a challenge. Like I'm gonna have kidney beans plus pickles plus something else, naan bread, and I'll mix it with olives
Mm.
and
Sounds
peppers
good.
and whatever's left, and I create something. So what we did is like we had those collective dinners together, and we called that
Hmm.
a tuski. So we would just bring our stuff from our fridge that we had leftover cheeses and
Yeah.
bread and olives, and it was fantastic. It was, yeah, the bonding experience, the collective, the sense of community. And we need so much of that. We need so much of that to create those bubbles. Because, Christopher, I realize that all the evil that we see in this world right now and the violence, the destruction, I don't think we can easily fight that, right? I think we have to create bubbles that are antipodal to that. So it's kind of an indirect way to not feed into this and
Hmm.
create something else, a reality that's more aligned with who we are really. So yeah, it gave me a sense of peace to realize that like this is how we can make a difference is by creating the positive, not necessarily by trying to counter the negative, because I think it's just draining. And I think it's important to create some positive, inject some joy and laughter and create those bonding experiences.
Oh, you mean like create the change that you want to see in the world?
Yes, thank you. Yes, exactly. And that
That's
was it.
wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is also something that a thought that I love. Instead of fighting against something, why not
Mhm.
use the same energy or even less energy to create something that you want to see?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
fighting against is usually pressure generates
Hmm.
what's what's the word? Also, the counter pressure. There, you got it.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
so there's always more and more and more, and it's a spiral that will never
Hmm.
end.
Correct.
And but if you create something that you want to see, that you want to have, if you create love, if you create abundance, if you create uh,
Yeah.
this group feeling, that's
Hmm.
togetherness. That's wonderful.
Yes, that's how I felt it was the most beneficial. And yeah, because like you said, yeah, pressure, counter pressure. I mean, it's sterile. There's nothing that's
Right.
going to come out of that. But creating something positive will move us in the other direction. It will change the trajectory. So yeah, joy,
Mhm.
gratitude, sense of community.
Exactly, gratitude. Um, I'd like to throw in something that could be a little controversial, but I think it's important to think about it. I Many years ago, I had a uh, my boss. He was known for having strong opinions about things that weren't so politically accepted. He, he said, "Oh," he said, it, the people need another war. It's been a much of this was in Germany. It's been much of too long a time that we had a war. We need a war again, so people grow together again. That people know what they have
Mhm.
when they feel all the bombs and grenades flying over their heads, what they have from each other, how important it is to be dependent and rely on each other.
Mhm.
So what he proposed was not the war. He used this vehicle
Mm.
more than a picture in the background. But I took from what I took from what he said is that he uh, missed the feeling of togetherness, the feeling of I need to be able to rely on my peers, on my neighbors, on the people in my town, that we grow together in bad times
Mhm.
to see through all of
Mhm.
us, to protect all of us, that we are in a group, are um, it's easier for us to survive, and it's not important any longer what political ale you're on, or on which side of the political ale you're on, but uh,
Mhm.
more what can I give
Right,
to
right.
the
Mhm.
community, like in your get together there where you went to
Mhm.
your refrigerators and okay,
Yeah.
what do I want to take to our, what was the name again?
The Tuski.
Dusky, right. And so you take whatever you get. One is a good carpenter, right? One is a good um, bricklayer,
Mhm.
and the other one is a good
Right.
cook, or has, I don't know, some food over, or is good in vegetable
Mhm.
growing, and so you oh, I'm sorry, you create a society inside a society, right? Like a bubble. You
Mhm.
said that before. So that's the important thing,
Yeah.
right? Creation
Yeah.
instead of pressure and counter
Hmm.
pressure. That's wonderful. And
Yes,
well, how
creation,
did we get from
synergy.
nature
Yeah.
there? Yeah, yeah. Well, that's the spirit of nature, right? That's how
Right.
we we roamed through the savannah, and we as you having been born and lived in North America, well, the Native Americans, they knew that all along, right? And
Yeah.
then came we Europeans and settled there on their land and thought we knew
Yeah.
better, but we didn't, right?
Yeah.
We look where we got to.
No, exactly. I think we need to reconnect with that nature and the interconnectedness of all life. And yeah, nature is operating in that sense of the synergy, in the sense of community, just like at a table where we bring everything we have
Right.
together and create something beautiful. Nature has that ability. So, yeah, nature has a lot of teachings, and we need to respect nature and embrace it and celebrate it.
And we can only see and learn from nature when we
Hmm.
go
Yeah.
and visit
Yeah.
nature and listen and feel
Yeah.
and
Yes.
hear and taste.
Yes. Yes. Soliciting the senses.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
even hugging a tree or a boulder and
Hmm.
not thinking, oh, what's this nonsense? No, there are many people out there that actually are able to feel a
Yeah.
tree,
Yes.
a connection. of some sort. We don't need to understand everything, right? We
Yeah. No, we don't need to understand or doesn't have to make sense with our limited frameworks right now that we
Mhm.
use, intellect, right? But we could say if it brings joy, if it brings peace, a sense of community, why not? Why not emphasize that?
And back to your hike, it
Hmm.
doesn't necessarily need to be a hike where you're running, right? There are countless of hiking
Right.
trails everywhere around the world,
Hmm.
long, short. You can do the Pacific Crest Trail, right? And you can go walk the Appalachian Trail, or you can take
Yeah.
the Pilgrims Trails through Europe. There are
Yes.
like a tons of,
Yes.
even in Sweden, they have a Pilgrim Trail.
Right.
So it's a wonderful experience, and you find as you, I'm sure everyone from our audience that wants to try that out will meet many people and connect with like-minded people out there if they
Exactly.
only try it.
Yes. It doesn't matter the speed or pace at which you put one foot in front of the other. What matters is to go forward, and that gives an incredible sense of freedom.
Right.
Yes.
It
So,
matters only to go forward, not the pace.
right.
That's
Exactly.
wonderful.
Yeah. So we hope
So,
that, yeah, we hope that people will go outside and go on a path, a trail, and
and
explore
listen.
and enjoy.
Yes,
Yeah.
listen to nature because nature is much, much more intelligent than us
Hmm.
humans,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. Yes, I think so.
Well, thank you very much, Colleen, for letting us be a part of your vacation and your trip there to Europe. Wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me, Christopher, and for suggesting that we talk about that. And it's been a delight for me to revisit this wonderful vacation. And in fact, we might have some guests in the future were part of that group and who will maybe share their own experience to our insights into
Yes.
and resilience. And yeah,
And thanks to our audience. Thank you for listening and that you held up with us until now, until the end. And we'd love to know more about your own experiences in nature. When do you go out in nature and what do you experience there? What is it that you take with you from nature? That would be
right.
really cool. So write it down in the comments, and we would be very grateful for that. Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone. It meant a lot to us that you joined us and listened today as well. Be
Yes.
well.
Be well. Thank you very much. Bye bye, Colleen.
Bye, Christopher. Thank you. Danke.